Hello and welcome to this month's Maggie Moment. If you are a parent who's probably not looking forward with great joy to the years that your gorgeous child becomes a teenager, I want to just give you a message to reassure you that it's not all as bad as it's painted to be. I absolutely love those years, but one of the things that can really help you on your journey with your lovely child to over the bridge to adulthood is for you to understand what's really going on so that you can understand why they're doing some things that may annoy you or cause you concern. They didn't ask for any of these changes, and one of the first big ones that happens, and remember girls go into puberty before boys, so girls are often well ahead. You'll notice it more with a boy, is that the brain does some pruning because Mother Nature's worked out it's got to change a child brain to an adult brain, so it's going to prune off stuff that's not being used. But it accidentally sometimes prunes off too much. So often memory and organisation skills are kind of like can be really impacted. You might find your teen can't remember to put his or her towel back up on a towel rack after the brain pruning. And if you do have a boy who was already forgetful, well, he can leave his backpack on the bus and have no idea where it is. So that doesn't mean to say we come down hard on them, but we need them to know this is a normal stage of development. So this is just one of the changes that's happening in the brain. The second thing that happens in the brain pruning, it not only prunes, it's remodelling. So it does this fabulous growth of dendrite things, which means it can learn all sorts of new things really quickly. Isn't that exciting? And then at the same time, remember the part of us that means we're sensible, we make great decisions, we motivate ourselves, we plan for the future, has to do with that very front part of our brain we call the prefrontal cortex. It is still very underdeveloped in the teen years, but it's gradually growing due to a process called myelination, which is the laying down of a fatty white substance called myelin, and it's gradually getting better and better. You'll notice a shift after 16 particularly, so I often say the bumpy window for you to really understand how to navigate this journey with compassion is the up until 16. There's a significant growth there. And then we know that after 18, there's even bigger growth. But the good news, or possibly the bad news, is that that prefrontal doesn't completely complete. For girls around 22 to 24, and for boys, due to the impact of excessive technology, closer to 30. So they can still make poor choices, and we can be exasperated with those choices. But their brain is gradually growing towards a complete prefrontal that they don't have, particularly when they forget things, make mistakes, make poor choices, or do some really risky behaviour. So I want you to keep that in mind, that the brain is doing all these changes without your teen asking for it. So lead with compassion, and remember, your brain's growing and changing. It's not always your fault.